Hello and welcome to this presentation. My name is Lalani Ramos and today we're going to be talking about special education law. So let's get started. So we're going to start with history. So in 1961, President John F. Kennedy created the President's Panel on Mental Retardation. Kennedy appointed a panel of experts to prepare a national plan for combating mental retardation. This panel offered 97 recommendations for improving research, training, income maintenance, and service programs. In 1965, Lyndon B. Johnson signed the Elementary and Secondary Education Act, which provided funding for primary education and is seen by advocacy groups as expanding access to public education for children with disabilities. It's also known as ESEA. In 1974, on August 21st, the Family Educational Rights and Privacy Act, also known as FERPA, was passed. The law states that the people are not allowed to disclose personal data in a student's personal record to third parties without parental consent. In 1975, the Education for All Handicapped Children's Act, EAHCA or EHA, was enacted by the United States Congress and guaranteed a free, appropriate public education for children with a disability. Also in 1975, Individuals with Disability Education Act, IDEA, was passed. This law states that all schools have to serve the educational needs of eligible students with disabilities. In 1990, the Education of All Handicapped Children's Act, EAHCA or EHA, was reformulated as the Americans with Disabilities Act, ADA. In 1997, the IDEA was reauthorized and this time raised the expectations for students and gave them the inclusive education that they deserved. In 1998, Children's Online Privacy Protection Act, also known as COPPA, gave parents control over what information was collected online from their children under the age of 13. In 2001, the No Child Left Behind Act was passed. This authorizes several federal education programs that are administered by the states. The law is a reauthorization of the Elementary and Secondary Education Act that Lyndon B. Johnson signed in 1965. In 2004, Congress restated that special education and related services should be given to the general education curriculum in regular classrooms. Also in 2004, the Response to Intervention, or RTI approach, was introduced. The multi-tier approach to the early identification and support of students with learning and behavioral needs. In 2008, Americans with Disabilities Act, Amendments Act, ADAAA, changes to the definition disability, equal employment opportunity for individuals with disabilities, non-discrimination on the basis of disability in state and local government services, and by public accommodations and in commercial facilities and telecommunication for those that have hearing and speech disabilities. And then lastly, in 2015, Every Student Succeeds Act, ESSA, which replaced No Child Left Behind, holds schools accountable for how students learn and achieve. It was passed into law on December 10th, 2015, and includes provisions that will help to ensure success for students and schools. Next, we're going to talk about two important court cases for special education. The first one we're going to talk about is the 1972 Mills v. Board of Education of the District of Columbia case. In this case, students were being denied education because they were classified as having behavioral issues. Students with disabilities were actually being suspended or expelled due to their disability classification. During this time, the District of Columbia said that the cost of educating kids with disabilities was just too expensive. In the end, the court ruled that students with disabilities must be given a public education even if the students are unable to pay the cost of education. It was after these court cases in 1975 that the Education for All Handicapped Children's Act was passed into place. Now, for the 2007 McCleary versus Washington State case, a lawsuit was filed on behalf of two families against the state of Washington for not meeting its constitutional obligations to amply fund uniform systems of education. This primarily occurred within the special education field, and after an extended period of time, a compromise was met, resulting in $1.3 billion going towards the operating budgets for Washington schools, which ended the case in 2018. Now, all this information was gathered through research and etc. But if you want further information, you can visit these three sites. This first one is the Individuals with Disabilities Disabilities Act official site. It gives you more information about the law along with all of the things that have been implemented due to it that will help your child or help somebody you know that has a disability and what their rights are. The Education Commission of the state website helps you so that you can find policies regarding the state in which you live in or are moving to, or etc., and gives you an idea of what is implemented there and what kind of policies you can expect to see in those areas and in those school district areas, I should say. The ASCD Learn, Teach, Lead website has a book on site about all the different types of laws that I've just reviewed in the timeline. There's more information there, more detailed information there on the site or on this page. And you can either buy the book there or you can just read it online on this site. I hope that this information has helped you and has cleared up any questions that you may have had or gives you access to some additional resources that you need to find. Have a good day and thank you for watching.